Sailors football. Talk a little bit about what you're instilling, what you're seeing, what you're finding so far, because you have the blueprint for quality education, playing football at the highest level, and winning in the game of life.
Well, we're building something. And when you're building something, it takes time. And I've come in and I've got a great group of seniors and upper class guys that are really hard workers that have bought in, but it's not easy. And we have a really tough schedule. So, some of the things that we've been trying to instill in them is first and foremost accountability in life, taking responsibility for yourself and what you can do. You know, football is a game where you go back after practice or you go back after the game and you watch film and you say, what can I do better? You don't point the finger at somebody else, even though on any given play, multiple people can make mistakes, but you look at yourself and you say, what can I do better? Did I align right? Did I take the proper stance? Did I take the proper steps? Were my eyes in the right place? So, alignment, assignment, execution, just the basics of the game. But then in life, am I doing the things I need to do in the classroom? Am I being a good teammate, a good citizen on campus, the way I'm treating other students, the way that I'm interacting with my teachers, my parents, my family? All of those things are things that we're trying to instill. And again, we have a great group of kids to work with, but there's also challenges. And there's kids that have different life situations, different home situations that are struggling in different areas. And we're trying to use football is a way to help them become better men in every area of their life.
Coach, when you look at that NFL football, what do you see?
I see all the work that it took to get there. Now, I didn't have a 10-year NFL career. I wasn't an all-pro. There's definitely guys that have way more successful NFL careers and stories than mine, but I know it was against the odds for me to make it. You know, I went to a small private school in Orlando, Lake Highland Prep, and I was the first player from Lake Highland to ever take a professional snap. Now, there's a guy named Max Starks that came very shortly after me that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and won a Super Bowl. So he's a more famous name, but I know what I was told I couldn't do. And I know the things that I had to overcome in my journey. And that's really everybody. Like everybody, no matter how highly touted you are, everybody has obstacles to overcome in their journey for where they're going. And it's about how you respond to it, how you grow from it. And those are things I'm trying to teach our players as well.
Coach Phillips, you have a case here. It has books, it has the Yale ring, it has rings, it has a plethora of success, helmets, your book. This is phenomenal. But just talk about, a lot of people get caught up in the destination, but is it the journey that is the character builder?
You know, I was just talking to somebody about this recently. People like to say it's not about the wins and the losses, that it's about character, it's about building all these other things for life. And that's true, but that's not tested until things aren't going your way, until you're not winning. And I've been thinking about it a lot this season because it's not going the way that I scripted it. So I'd love to be 5-0. We're not 5-0. And how do we respond? How do we get ready to come out and give a best effort every week? How do we improve? How do we get over the hump? All these things that I'm trying to teach players, but it's when the chips are down and things aren't going your way, that's when character is really revealed. And yeah, I've had some success in my life, but I remember that my first year at Yale, it was the first recruiting class for a brand new head coach that was replacing a Hall of Famer. Jack Selecki was replacing Carm Koza, and we went 1-9. And I played a lot as a freshman. A lot of my freshman teammates played with me. Next year we go 6-4. The next year we go 9-1, and we get that ring. So it's a process. And I'm trying to teach these guys how to practice like champions, and that how you practice during the week is going to lead to how you play on a Friday night. And we're trying to get there. We're trying to learn it. But I guess what I would say to answer your question is character is revealed when things don't go your way. And, you know, I'm learning new things about myself, even in the midst of this, and having to dig deep. And, you know, when things don't go the way that you want them, everybody asks questions. And I've got to figure out, what do I really stand for? And I know it, but it's revealed when I get put in the situation that I have to do it, and I'm there.
National Football League, not for long, not for everybody. Only a select few gentlemen who can rise to that occasion are able to put on that jersey. Take us into Houston, you put on that jersey, you look around, and it's real, it's Sundays, and it's happening.
Well, I remember the moment that I ran on the field for my first game as a professional with the Houston Texans, and it was the Hall of Fame game. And so everybody's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's that weekend. It's in Canton, Ohio. Well, my dad had played. My dad's picture is right up there. My dad had played in his first, that's Jerry Phillips, his first professional game had also been the Hall of Fame game when he was with the New Orleans Saints years before. And so he was there, him and my mom waiting as I came out of the tunnel, and I look up in the stands and he starts bawling, and then I start crying. Because again, it's about all that it took to get there. Now again, I didn't have that 10-year NFL career, but I had a moment. I had a moment in the sun, and it was a blessing, and I got to be around athletes at that level, and I feel like I got to learn what it would really take. And so it was special. I look at it as a blessing. I'm thankful for the opportunities that football has afforded me and what it's done in my life, and I just hope and pray that it gives some of these young men the same types of moments in their life, and that they're able to learn from it and grow from it in the same way that I have.
I've had the opportunity to cover Manatee, Coach Jacquez Green, a program you're familiar with, you coordinated for. Last year, you were the coordinator over there, and you guys played Sarasota. This year, you're with Sarasota, and what's your thought process going forward? And just take us back to Manatee, and now you're at Sarasota, and what that looks like.
Well, it was so strange being on the opposite sideline, going to, because we played at Manatee, and going into the guest locker room. It was surreal. It was a great experience. First of all, I love the guys over there. I love the kids. I really love the kids and the relationships. I didn't want to leave there. It was just an opportunity to be a head coach, and those opportunities don't come around every day, and especially in this area. And me and my wife, we were newly married and living in Sarasota already, so it just made sense. And, I mean, shoot, Manatee's 5-0 right now. And their defense, I would have had 9 starters coming back from the year before. And so I can look at that situation and be like, it would be great to be 5-0. But I love the kids that I'm coaching now. And this opportunity, like I said, it is testing me. It is growing me. And I feel like that is really what life is about. It's not about comfort. It's not about doing the easy thing. And this isn't the easy thing. It would have been easier to just stay there, not be the head guy, coach 9 returning starters, and that's a great situation. But I'll say this, it was all class when we played, in terms of the way that the players competed. It was a really, really great, it was a great game. Our kids put their full heart into it, and Manatee came out on top. And me and Jacquez had a couple of moments where we shook hands, and I am always thankful to him. I only coached for him for 1 season, but I'm thankful because he had confidence in me. He let me coach. He's an easy guy to work for. He's a good dude, and he's a really good football coach. So I respect him. I respect those guys over at that program, and I wish them well. There was a hashtag that we came up with. I was actually in the room and part of it after the season, and it was hashtag unfinished business, right? And I knew that part of their unfinished business was beating Sarasota, right? Because that was their last game that they lost in the playoffs last year. And so as I shook some of the players' hands, I told them, hey, you took care of your unfinished business, the start of it. Now go finish it, And I wish them well. I hope that they go all the way to the state championship this year. If we can't be in it, I would love to see those guys be in it.
Coach, with your background, resources, and everything, the blueprint, you could be anywhere. Yale, NFL, you could be anywhere. But you're in Sarasota coaching up the Sailors, and you're giving them something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Maybe they can't see it right now, but one day they'll come back. Talk a little bit about why you do this and why you're here.
That's a deep question, James. That's a deep question, and I appreciate you asking it because I don't think a lot of people would ask that question. I do this because I love kids, and I know all the times that I was told that I wasn't good enough and that I couldn't make it, and all the things that I had to do and the challenges that I had to overcome in my life. But we all have that, right? It's just different. And my hope for these kids is to see them be the best versions of themselves, to aspire to more, to not set their goals low, to set their goals high, and to believe in themselves. I love to see kids achieve things that they didn't think that they could. Now, the wins and losses are not what we want right now. We're not where we want to be, but we've got 5 games left. We've got a game tomorrow night versus Cardinal Mooney. Then we have 4 other games left, including a couple district games and a rivalry game and all of that. But at the end of the day, if I keep telling kids it's not just about the wins and the losses, it has to really just not be about the wins and the losses. And I hope that these kids take moments, right? Things that have been said when it was hard. How do we react when it didn't go the way that we wanted? How is character molded, shaped, forged, and revealed? And they are stronger for it. I hope that it makes them better husbands, fathers, workers, employers, whatever they're going to be in their life. I hope that what they take out of this program and this time together, that it's going to equip them somehow and they'll have memories for the rest of their lives. That's what I hope for. That's really what it's all about. And those are the best phone calls, right? When you get a phone call or when a player comes back to visit that you haven't seen in years, and they tell you about that special moment, and they remind you, hey, coach, you might not even remember this, but you said this once, and it stuck with me. Or I remember when you disciplined me for doing that, and at the time I thought it was stupid, and now I look back and I realize I needed that, and that made a difference in my life. Thank you. So that's what it's all about.
Coach, take us back to Houston when we all wanted a jersey growing up. And we know what that varsity jersey means, but take us back to the Houston Texans and that jersey that I see you wearing there, what that was like to see it, to see that locker, and that was yours. Take us back to that experience.
Well, I mean, you walk into a professional football locker room and you've got the best of everything, the cleats and the gloves and all the gear and stuff and anything that you want. And I remember getting on the first away game on the private jet that they have for us, the charter jet that we get on, and they've got all these people helping us, giving us stuff. They're just constantly giving us food. Just walking up and down the aisles, we're on this 2-hour flight, like snack after snack after snack, and it's just amazing. I mean, the resources that you have. I mean, you have no excuse not to be the best you can be at that level, right? You have all the resources, the best technology, the best trainers, the best equipment, everything you can possibly imagine. It was so surreal. And, and just to walk out of the stadium and look around and hear the fans cheer. But it wasn't always great. I guess I feel like one of the moments that I grew, or I knew that I made it, is when a fan yelled at me as I was walking off the field one time, "Hey, Phillips." And I look up and they're like, "You suck." And they were in a different jersey. It was a Dallas Cowboy fan, and they were just letting me know that I sucked. And I was like, I have a heckler now, right? So I guess you've made it when you have a heckler. But rubbing shoulders with those guys, I remember some of the guys that I sat with and I ate with, from David Carr, #1 overall draft pick, amazing guy. Aaron Glenn, an all-pro corner who now is a defensive coordinator in the NFL. Guys like that, and just they're real people. They're real people. They've got their own story about how they got where they got and everything that they had to overcome to get there. And it's easy to look at them and just look at performance and throw people under the bus. And these are real people. They got real lives. You don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know what's going on in their life. So I'm thankful to have had my moment in the sun, and hopefully some of the players that I coach get that opportunity too.
Thank you, sir.